Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. Tonight we are recapping the week's nerdy news from Krypton to Nevarro and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me as always is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Not a whole lot, weirdly. Not a whole lot at all.
Oh, all right. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of news going on
No,
out there this week.
It's pretty pretty sparse, but
we're still going to talk about it.
Yeah.
What we can. Oh, I meant to look this up. This will be great podcasting, especially to start off the show with.
Oh, we'll get right into it. Why wouldn't
I was looking into why wouldn't we? We're getting right into it. I was looking through our reviews because I had several people tell me after our last episode that, and if you know, you listen to last week's episode, you'll know that we said if you give us a 5-star review and include a recipe, we will make that recipe and eat it while we're doing the podcast. Now, I had several people reach out to me personally saying that they were loving that idea and that they submitted reviews, but they weren't up yet. And as I look now, I still see
not up.
The reviews that have been there for like a long time.
So
still not up. And I looked it up. I was hoping that would be up by tonight because I looked it up yesterday, and apparently the Apple podcast app takes like a week or so to approve and review those reviews.
Yeah.
So I guess it could just be that there's a lag on those. But we're not trying to avoid eating anything while we're doing this. We're not trying to get out of the promise that we made to you last week. That's still a hard promise.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just not up yet, and we don't have your recipes.
So if you're reading this,
so I just wanted to give a quick update on that.
Yeah, if you're reading the transcript of my voice for some reason.
If you're reading this, where are you reading this and how? Yeah.
I did reach out to Apple Podcasts. If you are leaving a review, do not put a URL in it, because apparently that's what got one of them denied. So one that both of us knew was getting left. That was the reason. So 72 hours after you leave a review, we should be able to see it, and we will subsequently figure out what's going on next week. Hopefully we will know, and hopefully we'll be munching on some delicious foods next time we're doing this podcast. If we get a 5-star review attached to it, don't forget that little caveat. Absolutely.
You think I'm going to eat your whatever chicken casserole with a 1-star review attached to it? No sirree, Bob. Won't be happening at all.
5 stars or bust around here.
So yeah, this is the Multiverse Report. That's right. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching or if you're listening. We are sponsored by Funky Town Comics in the village of Camillus. Funky Town Comics is also sponsoring Collectors Con, Syracuse Collectors Con, March 16th and 17th at the Great New York State Fair Horticulture Building. We'll be there. You should be there too. Get your tickets now. And also just want to say before we really dive in here that our interview with G. Willow Wilson is still up. Still available for you to listen to. Or watch, really.
Yeah.
Could do either.
Read. Wait, no.
No. That's the one thing that you can't do. But, all right, we have not a huge week in news like we already mentioned at the top. But we got to start off with something sad, a bit of a bummer, as we lost somebody that was pretty well known within the genre community, the nerd community. Carl Weathers, former football player turned actor Carl Weathers, passed away this past week at 76 years old. He was known for his iconic film roles in Predator. He played Apollo Creed in the Rocky films. He's also hilarious in Happy Gilmore. He's also in a lot of TV shows, including Arrested Development and The Mandalorian. I also read in, I think it was the Variety article that was eulogizing him, that he had a part in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I
And
did not know
I've
that.
seen that movie a bunch, but I do not remember Carl Weathers being in that movie. Seems weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, Steve, I am also seeing like a delay. It's not just you. I don't know if we're just off tonight for some reason. I don't know. So sorry if it affects the audio in any way. I think that we're getting the delay going on here. But the best post that I about Carl Weathers came from writer and comic book author Mark Bernardin, or is my favorite, I should say, my favorite. And so I figured I would read it. He posted a picture of Carl Weathers on his Instagram and captioned it with the following: "For a brief moment pre-pandemic, I was lucky enough to develop a show that Sylvester Stallone was interested in producing. When we talked about whether he'd also star in the show, Sylvester Stallone declined, but he said, you know who would be great? Carl. I'll never forget when he came in to read for Apollo. He came in right off the plane. He looked like a sports car. He was lean and tall and muscular and beautiful. And he comes into the room and sees me, then looks at the director and he says, so who's going to play Rocky? And I say, I am. So he goes, this chump? Okay. And that's when I knew he'd be the perfect Apollo." And Mark goes on to say, "The show didn't happen. I never got to meet Carl Weathers, but he exists for me alongside Billy D. Williams as what black masculinity looked like when I was a kid. Handsome, charming, funny men who could make a mustache work. Shitty way to start Black History Month." I thought that was great. That was great.
Yeah, that it's weird to think like Carl Weathers and Billy D. Williams for some reason go down in that same vein for me as well, of like that was the apex of, like, I don't know, there was just a, I don't want to say stereotype, but it was like, I don't know, it was like that iconic role. And from Predator to
Yeah, and
anything, like Predator even to Happy Gilmore, like the moment I realized that Chubbs and Apollo Creed were the same person, I was like, my
yeah.
1994 mind was like blown.
Yeah, I mean, and he makes a great point about him being like the face of black masculinity, because there
Yeah.
wasn't a ton of representation for that back then in like the 80s or whatever. So, you took what you got. You got Lando Calrissian, and you got Apollo Creed. So, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Will be missed for sure. Now we only have a couple DC updates for you, and we got a Marvel thing, and that's it. So we'll see if Steve and I can stretch this into our classic hour and change. Who knows? Maybe the delay that's going on between Steve and I will just get longer and longer, which will help us stretch the show even longer.
Yeah, that'll change everything.
Yeah, hopefully. Just realized there was something. Sorry, something funky with my computer going on. But we're okay now, I believe. We talked about a couple weeks ago rumors of an actress being circled for Supergirl. That actress has been found. Millie Alcock has been cast as Supergirl. House of the Dragon star as a, what was her name?
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra. Yeah, I always said Rhaenyra. I knew that wasn't it. No hard G's.
Rhaenyra is a different.
Rhaenyra
Yeah, never mind.
Targaryen.
Let's not go down that
Of course
rabbit
it's
hole.
a different character. Of course it is. Of course it is. She has been cast as Kara Zor-El herself in James Gunn's DCU. Now, according to Deadline, Cock will appear as the character in at least one DCU project before the release of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, her own feature film. Steve, I feel like I saw a number of people, and not just like dorks like you and me, just like actual people that are in the
Actual
industry,
people.
criticizing actual people that are in the industry, actual human beings, not mindless robots like you and I.
Right.
Saying things like, sure, why? Sure, go ahead, cast your whole universe before you even make a movie. That's always worked out. Blah blah blah, stuff like that. You know, like, hello, hey, I think this means she's in Superman Legacy. Have you ever thought of that? I think
Right.
she's in the movie that they're making right now. It makes lots of sense. Settle down, people. Um. Anyway, Gunn posted about it. Gunn meaning James Gunn. Posted about it, saying, coincidentally, Millie was the first person I brought up to Peter for this role well over a year ago. And when I had only read the comics, I was watching House of the Dragon and thought she might have the edge, the grace, and the authenticity we needed for DCU's Supergirl. And now here we are. Life is wild sometimes. So I think that's great. Steve, what do you think of Millie Alcock as Supergirl?
Well, I can say the only thing that I've seen her in any way, shape, or form was House of the Dragon. And she's
Same.
inherently no longer in that because they've moved past that storyline. Unless there's a
Yep.
flashback or something, that's the end of her there. That frees her up quite a bit
Yeah.
for for other roles. Um, that said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that'll fit fine. If Gunn thinks that's the right casting, then
Yeah.
sure, why not? Like, she killed it in House of the Dragon, so why not?
Yeah, I think she really did kill it in House of the Dragon. I thought she was really good. And she kind of had to be because we went into that show knowing that this character was going to grow up over the first season and the actress was going to change. So, like, going in knowing that, like, the actress that roots you to that character has to be compelling enough to do the job.
Right.
And to make you care about that character so much that even when they're later replaced by another actor, you're gonna still care. And she did it. I thought she was really good. I didn't want the other actor to take over. Like, I thought she was so good. I
Right.
wish they could have stayed with her.
Well, and that's,
So
she also had to hold her own
I am
against actors like Patty Considine and Matt Smith and Risa Fons and
yeah.
like there was a ton of high profile actors she had to hold her own against. So yeah,
Yeah.
she definitely
Yeah.
passed that test.
Yeah, I agree. And she passed James Gunn's test as well. And I mean, James Gunn is really good at his job, but I think he's especially good at casting. Look at the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, his the Suicide Squad. Like, those are very well cast movies. He chooses great actors for great parts. Sometimes he writes parts specifically for actors. I don't think this was the case here, clearly, but I feel like he always nails the casting. So
Yeah.
I can trust him and I can trust her as an actor. So I'm good to go. I'm all in on this. And I can almost guarantee we will see her in Superman Legacy. It makes plenty of sense that we would be introduced to
if
her.
they're casting her this early, that's a guarantee without a guarantee.
Yeah, because he said so many times that, as we're about to talk about, they're not forcing anything. And we can elaborate on that right now as I go into the next DCU update. A couple posts from James Gunn on Threads, seemingly his new favorite social media application. He said on the anniversary of him him making the announcement of his chapter 1 of the DCU Gods and Monsters, he posted, 1 year ago today, Peter Safran and I introduced our DC slate for the first time. Thanks to all of you for the support you've given us throughout the year. Today, Superman Legacy is about to start production. Episodes of Creature Commandos are being finished that will release later this year. And at least 2 more projects are gearing up to go in the next couple months. Amazing scripts keep coming in, and incredible talent are being attached to new projects, planned and unplanned. Thank you. So it's cool. Things are moving along. So according to this post, scripts are coming in. They're attaching people, just not announcing things. And then someone replied to that, asking about, what projects or, the order or whatever. And he said, some things have shifted around. Some projects are now earlier, others later. Other new projects are still being developed. Like I said from the beginning, We are going to put things in production based on when we have a great script and nothing else. And luckily, we've had some great scripts taken by surprise. I just think this is the right way to go about building a universe or a series of films. When the script is right, that's when you make it. And you don't start before you got a good script, because the script is everything. Everything comes from the script.
I mean, that's how the MCU started.
I feel like that's how it started.
Not current status, but
Doesn't seem not necessarily how it ended. It's how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's probably taking a lesson from stuff that he learned at Marvel or saw at Marvel, where, you know, you got to do this in a way where these films and shows can move release dates without interrupting each other. And I know that is hard to start with, and it's only going to get harder as things go on and characters, you know, move forward or die or, you know, whatever, you know. It's a hard thing to do, but at least going in knowing that and having that as seemingly be like a pillar of your universe, I think is really smart. Like, maybe initially the Brave and the Bold Batman movie was supposed to come out after Superman Legacy, but the script isn't right yet, so Supergirl is going to come out after Superman Legacy. Like, great. And it's not going to be weird with your continuity or anything. Awesome. Can't wait. That's a great way to do it. Just give me the stuff that's ready. Give me the stuff that's good. Don't give me the stuff that is forced. Don't force something just because you told us it was going to be at a certain date
right.
3 years ago. You know what I mean? Because that's how you get into trouble.
So Marvel got into trouble.
Yeah, it is. It's shocking. I feel like you and I mentioned this a long time ago when we started doing this podcast. But I feel like we had a conversation about how crazy it is that there hadn't been any like scheduling conflicts or major train wrecks with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And there wasn't for a long time. And they made it pretty much, I mean, not that every movie was an A+, but they told that Infinity Saga pretty flawlessly up through Endgame. And then the wheels started to come off the wagon. And I still think there's, you know, they're not fully off. They're going to get it back, I believe. I believe they're going to get it back. But it seems like James Gunn is very much trying to avoid that situation that he sees Marvel in.
Yeah, seems like there's, I don't know, there's some room for him to play around, and he should be able to at least take off in the plane. You know, Marvel's having trouble landing the plane right now, but like there's a solid base and a solid way to, you know, direction for them to go. So it seems like the only place to go is up, and you know, this casting definitely fits in that vein. So
yeah, I think, to go off your plane metaphor, I feel like Marvel just doesn't want the plane to ever land. Like, the closest they came to landing was Endgame, and then they just, like, maybe they just refueled,
did a touch and go, and
trying to keep it up there ever since. And like, yeah, like sometimes you gotta land a plane and let it sit for a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes you gotta let a character rest.
That's what Star Wars is learning.
Or a universe rest. Yeah. Or you gotta, like, I mean, the problem with, I mean, you could say this is a problem with comic books too, but with the MCU, it's like every movie, if you're not gonna have an ending, like Endgame was an ending, you know, they could have stopped there. They could have paused for a year.
Yeah.
There, you know, and we all would have been fine with it, but they didn't. They kept cranking out movies. But Endgame was such a great ending. If you don't have an ending, at least every once in a while, if you don't push pause, if you don't end something, then everything just feels like a second act, and you're just spinning your wheels to try to avoid ending anything, you know? And that's what, I mean, comics are like that too, because it just has to be the next issue and the next issue and the next issue and the next issue. They're never going to stop making Spider-Man comics. They're never going to stop making Superman or Batman comics.
Right.
So you just have to find a way to keep it going. And I think that's more noticeable in a film series if you're just spinning your wheels. and not really moving the characters forward than it is in the comics, because comics can get rewritten and rebooted at any at any moment. Films can't really do that. So the other thing that I think the folks at Disney could learn from, James Gunn was asked about why Creature Commandos is coming out first. Why is the Creature Commandos an animated show, the first entry in his DCU? And he said, well, because it was written and ready to go. And we thought it would work well as an aperitif to the DCU before the meal of Superman Legacy. Now, I'm just realizing that there's a part of this that I forgot to add to this. And the part that I really wanted to stress, the very smart thing that he's doing, he said, Creature Commandos, someone asked how long Creature Commandos is going to be, or how he determines how many episodes each series will have. And he said, each series or amount of episodes is dependent upon the story that's being told. Creature Commandos is 7 episodes. Like, wow, what a great idea.
It's a weird concept.
Maybe write the story and figure out, it's a very weird concept, figure out how many episodes it takes to tell that story. Don't just try to fill episodes or squeeze into a 6 episodes. Like if it's 7, yeah, 7's a weird number. But if that's the right number of episodes, that's the right number of episodes. How many times have we seen a 10 episode series that could have been 8? Plenty of times. Plenty of times. So I think that's smart. Did I lose you? Or we just...
No,
Hello?
you're just gapping.
Oh, wow, that bad?
Yep.
Wow, okay. I'm gonna sign off and sign back on again, see if that fixes it. And if you want to dig into the Marvel thing, you can, or you can wait 10 seconds or vamp. I'll be right.
He'll be right back, folks. So DC is handled, and we are on to the minor bit of Marvel news that we've gotten. In what seems to be, I guess, logo watch this week. Kevin Feige was at the Saturn Awards, and, you know, he's one to wear a hat. This week, Kevin Feige's hat, which he's before worn various things on his noggin, this one included a Deadpool logo. Now, that Deadpool logo was not your standard Deadpool face that we've all come to know and laugh at. It was half Deadpool and half Wolvie classic yellow suit mask. So really, really, really cool looking. Seems to be a one-off. The only, I guess, replica of it has been a fan-made version that kept showing up on social media. Nothing official has been released with that logo on it, but it was a cool little nod to the fact that Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine are appearing in the film together for the first time since that movie that never happened, also known as X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, yeah. Oh, holy crap. You responded in a timely manner, Mike. You might be back.
I did, huh? Well, see,
Yeah.
I thought it was you that wasn't responding in a timely manner, so it was probably me, though.
Yeah, I was waiting like 5 seconds for you to respond to anything I was saying.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. And sorry for the listeners that if that's gonna bother you.
I think it's okay on the audio. I think we didn't overlap too much.
Wow. Well, okay then.
It may be confusing at various points,
okay.
but we should be good.
I was on a podcast once, and something got weird with the audio where as the podcast went on, my audio track got further and further ahead of the host's audio track. So by the end, I was like answering questions that she hadn't even, I would start answering a question before she asked it. Like it was impossible to listen to.
Wow.
Like the first half of it, certainly a good listen, but it just got insane by the end.
Right. See, now this is
anyway, so yeah.
a look behind the mask. If you're listening to this on audio, I can't fix anything because we don't do this the right way and record individual tracks and I merge them together and whatnot. I do this a lazy way of just recording what we record live in Discord. So if anybody wants to
Hey,
start
it's just
paying
live.
us money, I will record this the right way and make Mike record his track and edit it and do the whole nine. But until then, here we are
Yeah.
at the mercy of people
Yeah,
leaving
we're
food
just
reviews.
straight up live. Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah. I don't know if anyone ever that listens or watches this wonders, but no, we don't ever edit this podcast. We just go
I
straight.
feel like if anybody
and then
listens,
we say something
they
dumb, it's
understand
dumb.
that.
They know. They're like either they don't edit anything or they're really bad at editing because they could have trimmed that rant down
Yep.
quite a bit.
Nah.
So yeah, Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3 logo.
The only
Comes
movie
out
I'm excited about this year.
July 26th. Well, here's the thing. I was reading this story, and yes, I am excited about Deadpool 3. But I'm not like fully I'm also I should say it like this. I'm also wary of Deadpool 3 because it's like a multiverse. From all the rumors we've seen, it's another multiversal thing
Yeah.
with tons of returning characters, rumored. And I'm kind of feeling burnt out on multiversal things. And I just want like a story that is a story in its own universe. And I mean, it's going to be cool to see Hugh Jackman again, but I was never someone that really wanted him to come back. And like, I was done with the Fox X-Men universe. And like, it'll be fun to see them again, but it all depends on what happens and how the movie handles that. Now, if I think that there's one character that could do it in a way that wouldn't make me roll my eyes, it's Deadpool, and it's Ryan Reynolds. So I'm still holding out hope. And of course, I'm going to see this movie. Of course, I'm going to see this movie. And I'm sure that it'll, make me laugh and be great fun. I just hope I like it more than I've liked other multiversal crossover films that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean the saving grace to that is it's Ryan Reynolds and it's Deadpool and it should have hilarity ensuing. The biggest, in all honesty, think about multiverse movies that you've actually liked. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. I wasn't even counting that because it's not comic book based, but yes.
No, but it's a multiverse movie that works. And you know why it works? It doesn't take itself too seriously. And you know what Deadpool's not going to do? Take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And because I feel like it's going to have, it will likely have less reverence for that Fox Marvel X-Men universe than say Sony had for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. You know what I mean? So
this is the movie series that introduced all of X-Force to throw them out of a plane and splat them.
Yeah.
There was a 5-minute segment where they introduced all of them and chucked them out of a plane.
It would be really funny if they introduced like the entirety of that X-Men cast.
Yep.
James Marsden, Famke Janssen, Halle Berry, and then they just all immediately died.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of recycling that joke from Deadpool 2, but I would take it. It would be even funnier if it was these huge stars that we were all hyped for to see again. And then they were just
gone.
Killed.
Yep.
That'd be pretty great.
Oh, yeah. And I would not put it past them.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
But yeah, I mean, look at the rest of the superhero slate for the year. Like, outside of Dune, there is not a movie I'm looking more forward to this year than Deadpool 3.
Steve, you must be forgetting about Madam Web coming out next week, I think.
Outside of Dune, there's not.
Yeah, Valentine's.
Yeah, it's coming out on Valentine's Day. But yeah, my wife and I are not going to that on Valentine's Day. I can tell you that. I showed her the trailer for that. Do you know what her reaction was?
If I'll be going to see it.
Her reaction was literally, "What the F did I just watch?"
Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah.
I can't decide if I'm going to go see that or not.
I almost want to see how bad it is, but do I pay the money to
same.
do that?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, maybe we wait a couple weeks and go in as the only people in the theater, MST3K it, and record it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It honestly fully depends on how busy I am when it comes out, and February's looking pretty busy for me. So I don't know if I don't know if it'll happen.
So February is always pretty busy for you.
True. Yes, I am currently in my 9th year of the February album writing month challenge. Writing 14 songs in 28 days. Fortunately, it's a leap year, so I get an extra day
There you go.
this year.
Usually you're done in like 3 weeks. So
well, last year I went above and beyond and I did 20 songs.
Mhm.
So that took the entirety of the time. That was too much. I'm not doing that again. Too much.
fair enough.
Speaking of Deadpool 3, Matthew Vaughn, famed director Matthew Vaughn, who I guess is rebooting his Kick-Ass movies.
Yeah.
Strange. I don't know if anyone really wants those, but whatever. He also directed one of my favorite X-Men movies, X-Men First Class. And he apparently has seen Deadpool 3, and he gave an interview this week saying that he promises Deadpool 3 will be a jolt to the Marvel brand that will bring that body back to life. That's his quote. Bring that body back to life, referring to the MCU as a dead body, apparently.
Yeah, that's
Ouch.
the only reason I'm even thinking about that quote is because of the like you normally wouldn't drop a quote like that pissing off the mouse when they're paying your paycheck.
Yeah.
But also like
Yeah.
it didn't seem like the normal coach speak of like saying nothing in the interview while saying something.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's hope.
And like you say, they're paying his check. I don't think he's being paid, but he doesn't work for Disney. I don't think. Like,
True.
I think he did like the Kingsman. He did the Kingsman movies. They're not Disney, so
No, you're right.
he can say whatever he wants. Which also means he doesn't have to praise Deadpool 3. So he's probably being honest about it.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought he was tied to something that the mouse was doing. Nope.
I don't know.
No, because
I think he's someone who gets rumored to do superhero movies often, and
that might have been what it was.
Besides the X-Men one, I don't. Yeah, his name pops like his name's been circling for the Authority for the DCU and also the Supergirl Woman of the Tomorrow movie. So
yep.
Who knows if that'll happen? But I think his name gets thrown around a lot as a possible director. Speaking of directors, and Deadpool. This is something that I'm remembering that I read, and it's just because we talked a week or two ago about a new Jurassic World movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was reported this week that David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2,
Sure,
will be directing the new Jurassic World. I believe is Deadpool 2. Yeah, okay, yeah, because someone did the first one, and David Leitch is the John Wick guy. He came and did number 2, and now he's going to direct a Jurassic World movie. So, Steve, what do you think about the John Wick action guy directing a Jurassic World movie?
I think they're just going to lean into everything they've leaned into in Jurassic World as we see it. Like, they're just going to. I don't know. Is that turning it into the? We're not going full Michael Bay Transformers, but like, just turn it into an action spectacle and see what happens.
Yeah. I kind of wouldn't mind that. I feel like I like his name attached to it because I feel like he's not a director that I would. He's not who I would have picked for a Jurassic World movie, but knowing his kind of hardcore action sensibilities, I don't know how that translates to dinosaurs, but that could be pretty great. Could be pretty great.
Yeah.
And I would love that. Like, give me less nostalgia and just give me some kind of crazy balls to the wall action movie with dinosaurs. Heck yeah. Take that any day of the week. Now, Steve, I do not have a comic to review this week. I did not secure one from our friends at Funky Town Comics, but you do.
I, however, did.
What do you got, buddy?
I have Moon Man number 1. This would be a Virgin cover that I'm a sucker for every time I see one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, solid art from, I believe this cover was Erica D'Urso. Um, but the comic itself is written by Scott Muscudi, who you might know as Kid Cudi, alongside Eisner-nominated
Oh.
co-writer Kyle Higgins. So this is Kid Cudi's comic debut. Kyle Higgins did Radiant Black, and then Marco Licati on the art, which
nice.
I'm loving the art. It's a very, very unique style. Almost, I'm trying to put my brain on who it reminds me of. It's pretty raw. It's pretty. I was just reading Jesus. I was just reading some Spider-Man that had similar art style, but a very, I guess almost elemental kind of look to it. Raw edges, kind of scrappy, but story. What's that?
No, I think our delay is back.
Oh, okay.
Responding in it, yeah.
Gotcha. So our story is based around a guy coming back from a moon mission, trying to land on everybody for these guys coming back from a private company's moon mission. There's some controversy in the town that this Ramon, your main character, lives in, as to the SpaceX equivalent, and basically comes back and finds out he has superpowers. Standard trope, but also a good setup. It felt good, felt paced well, felt like a decent setup for what's to come. I would definitely recommend at least having a read of it. So it's
Cool.
it's setting a stage. It's not wasn't an A+, but it wasn't it was definitely solid material, making me want to pick up a second and see where it goes.
Nice.
So
Awesome,
yeah,
dude.
did not and in all honesty, I did not expect that going into, you see people like guest writing comics and you're like, all right, what's it going to be? And he seems to get it. So I'm cool with it. It was a good hit.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, speaking of comics, what else have you read? How is your 1,000 comics in 2024 going? I can tell you're opening a spreadsheet as I'm asking you.
You know me so well, Mike. You know me so well. Yeah, we are up to 89. I believe the next time we speak will be over 100 for the year. Primarily this week has been a good chunk of the original run of the Superior Spider-Man by Dan Slott, going back and forth between the Umberto Ramos art and Ryan Stegman art, both of which are always absolutely baller. This whole run of trying to get into the mind of Otto Octavius as Peter Parker, it's well done. It's a fun read. It's keeps you engaged, and yeah, great hit. This week also hit Avengers Twilight, which through 2 issues continues to be awesome. Same thing with Duke. World Tree 7.
Oh, great. Good
Wolverine 42, the second issue of Sabretooth War. Hulk 8, which is still Horror Hulk is my favorite Hulk. And then Dead X-Men #1. So all in all, it was a pretty good week. No real stinkers. Couple that were quite good in Avengers and Duke and Dead X-Men, and Hulk and Moon Man were all top notch. So even the new stuff I picked up was good. So I'll take it.
How was Dead X-Men?
Dead X-Men was good. Weird, but good. So I'm gonna hang on to that one, but yeah, it has a lot of promise. The question is where they go with it.
I like when the X-Men get weird.
Oh yeah,
So
that's where they excel. That's their best place is when they get when things get sideways. It's like, all right, this is a good X story.
Nice. Do you have any lined up that you're about to dive into for this coming week?
No, actually, floppies wise, I am up to date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess that's part of what this has
I just
done.
didn't know if you had like a list of to go.
No, I'm just
kind of you were pulling from.
Gotcha. No, I'm just kind of continuing. So I'm doing Superior Spider-Man on the Marvel Unlimited app. And then it was debating whether or not to grab something off the shelf and kind of run both at the same time. But we're coming up on Wednesday, so got to see what I grab tomorrow and how things are going. So what's showing up tomorrow, Mike?
Speaking of tomorrow, Steve, what a segue, my friend. What a segue you gave me right there. This week in your local comic book store, you got Alien #4, Antarctica #8, Avengers #10, Batman #142, Birds of Prey #6. Can't wait for that. Captain America #6, Daredevil Gang War #3. I did not know that this was a thing that was happening, but boy, do I love this title. DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. It's a one-shot. Definitely picking that up. Doctor Strange #12, Fantastic Four #17, Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville #6 of 6. The end of that miniseries. Gunslinger Spawn #28, Kneel Before Zod #2, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return #1, Poison Ivy #19, Sensational She Hulk #5, Shazam #8, Star Trek Defiant #11, Star Wars Mace Windu, big #1 for the Star Wars crowd. Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum. It's a tie-in to the video game about to be released. Superman 78, The Metal Curtain #4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures #10, Thanos #3, Thundercats #1, The Return of the Thundercats, Ultimate Black Panther #1, Venom 30, Wolverine Madripoor Knights #1, and X-Men 31. Steve, what of this illustrious list, if any, will you be picking up this Wednesday?
I already have Ultimate Black Panther pulled because that's just going to be good. I don't know if you heard that is already going to a second printing. So based on pre-orders alone, they're already running that to a second printing.
Wow.
Thundercats 1 I may pick up just because that was, my youth. Madripoor Knights looks like a cool tale of Wolverine, Cap, and Black Widow back in Madripoor. So that'll be
that's cool.
Yeah, that combo is always good. And then actually, Kneel Before Zod. Did you read #1 for Kneel Before Zod? Because I heard it was a banger.
No, I missed Kneel Before Zod.
Yeah, I may see.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I may see if Funky Town's got one of the back issues floating around, but heard it was great. So looking down that avenue. If not, I'll pick it up and trade. You?
Nice, awesome. Well, these are my two regular pulls are on here: Birds of Prey and Poison Ivy. Kind of looking at Star Wars Mace Windu, like that seems interesting. To be honest with you, just because I don't know much about him, and there's not much out there about him as far as
you got to read.
I mean, I'm
you
sure
got to read Shatterpoint, Mike.
Stuff, but
there was a full novel about him.
Yeah, of course I have to. Oh yeah, of course there was. Of course there was. I'm sorry, Steve, and I'm sorry to all the Star Wars novel people.
I'm probably the only one that you're talking to here.
Yeah, that's probably true. Also, there's no way. I mean, if Funky Town ordered it, there's no way that I'm not walking out with How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. That's such a funny title and a way to use that character. Pump him up a bit before he gets a live action debut in Nathan Fillion. Yeah, I don't know. My I feel like most of the time because I'm trying to cut down on new single issues that I'm buying, and I'm doing a okay job. Not the best job, but an okay one. I often find myself looking more when I'm at Funky Town. I often find myself looking more through the back issues than looking at stuff that came out, within the last weeks or year or whatever. Like I'm trying to find just cool old vintage, or whether it's 90s vintage or like true 70s or 60s vintage, like just something with a cool cover.
Yep.
Or some kind of cool design or an issue I'd never seen before, or just all that kind of stuff, and they have it. So I don't know. I could flip through old vintage comics all day long, for sure, and have.
Yeah. No, it's there, and the back issues
Well,
are always solid.
Yeah, for sure. See we've come to the end of the rundown. Did we actually do a shorter show this time? For once?
I think, yeah, we're at 45 minutes. You know what it was?
Wow.
There was no arbitrary Star
Wow.
Wars news.
Yeah. The Star Wars news really gets us going.
I mean,
sure.
there was one bit of Star Wars news that maybe we'll consider a one shot. For anyone who didn't see it officially today, Gina Carano, for some ungodly reason, is attempting to sue Lucasfilm and Disney for her firing. Also, for some reason that I can't comprehend, said lawsuit is being bankrolled by Elon Musk because whatever. I think that's the extent of what we're going to discuss of this because it's dumb. But maybe down the road we'll end up having to cover something regarding it. But yeah, that's the extent of our Star Wars news for the week.
There's no way she wins that.
You don't take on the mouse, especially with a lawsuit that you're not going to win.
There's no way. There's no way that somewhere in her contract it didn't say something like we can fire you for any reason whenever we want because we're Disney. Like she definitely signed something that said something like that, and it doesn't like they fired her because she was being a Nazi on social media, and they asked her to stop. I think at least once, maybe multiple times, asked her to stop, and she just didn't. So they could say she just wasn't following the rules or whatever. Like they have plenty. There's no way she wins that lawsuit. I don't care how much money Elon Musk has. There's no way that she wins that.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yep.
She's trying to get her name in a headline, and she did that, I guess. But
other things I learned. I need to get my Ultimate Spider-Man #1 Chichetto variant with the black suit slabbed yesterday because currently a 9.8 of that is going for $190 for a book that came out 2 weeks ago.
Whoa. Wow, Steve.
Good
grab, buddy.
A raw is going for like $60, $66, $83. Jesus. Yeah. Be right back.
Yeah,
I'm just going to CBCS and sending that in.
Yeah, man, do that for sure. Oh, wow.
Playing with house money on that $3 investment.
Oh, awesome. Well, if you out there also have a pristine copy of that book, you know what to do.
Absolutely.
You know what to do. And I think we're out of news, so I think I'm, shorter show. I didn't say it was going to be a shorter show. Maybe that's why.
That might be the key.
That's why. Because anytime I announce that it's probably going to be a shorter show, we always go
way long,
at least an hour change. So that's probably why. Sorry, everybody. My fault. But since we're wrapping up, Steve, why don't we wrap this up?
Sure, why not? As far as wrap up goes, feel free to leave us a podcast review at Apple Music or Apple Podcasts now. Sorry. If you would like to do that and you would really like to watch us eat food on the show, leave us a review on there with no URLs in the review. Hint, hint to people that I know left a review. Don't put a link in there, and we may get it. If you do that, we'll do what we can, and maybe in the future have have other things tied to that, but we got to make sure, the comments for some reason work first. Beyond that, feel free to get a hold of us at themultiversereport.com on your socials, on your socials at the Multiverse Report on Threads or Blue Sky. Check us out on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Hi, Brian. Beyond that, just
hello, Brian.
Yeah, get a hold of us whenever you can, however you can. We're going to be around. We'll be at the aforementioned Syracuse Collectors Con, and go from there.
Yeah, come listen to us next week, which will be on a Sunday, hopefully, back to our normal podcasting day. And until then, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the multiverse.